then?
Okay. If you try to let us see the benefit, another instance for the benefit of 50. Toll today is proposed to be introduced in along 38 roads. 38 for example. When President Obasanjo ordered that they be demolished, they were demolished in 24 places, along 24 places. Out of these 24 places, 16 of them were in the southern part of Nigeria alone. And the remainder, that is 8, in the north. Now, if people wanted to see whether that was even just in terms of legislation across the road. So it was also thought that it was not justiciable, it was not just enough. Because it means that people, don't forget, the southern part of Nigeria is less than 1/4 of the total area of Nigeria. Nigeria is 923,000 square kilometers. And more than 600,000 square kilometers is in the north. So when you now put toll gates in areas that are smaller than areas that are bigger, then it calls also it calls to question the justice of it. That was it. So government went in terms of let's demolish the toll gates, or in the reverse, to increase them proportionate to each of the regions. Because politics also had to come in. Don't forget, taxation is about the political economy of the state. So that also went to it. Now government wants to introduce into 38 places. And that reintroduction, I must say, today makes sense. It makes some sense. But I cannot see why we should not look at why toll gates exist itself. That is the objective analysis of toll gates. There exist for 3 reasons. Number one is that they serve as speed brakes. The Federal Road Safety Commission knows something about this. They serve as speed brakes to brake speed and to prevent casualties on the road. Number 2 is that they are fundamental sources of income, even in advanced countries. You have many roads, tolls. They are fundamental sources of income. The third is that tolls also serve the purpose of helping to increase the possibility of employment. And people around the toll area can even develop markets and build towns, villages can emerge from there. And that can increase the economies of scale along that corridor. So these are the fundamental reasons why tolls are actually big. But if we look at this vis-a-vis the double taxation jeopardy, today, I think it will go in favor of toll than against toll.
So what do we do to ensure that Nigerians are not double taxed here? Because the hike in the price of fuel is still there, and then now we're reintroducing the tolls again. I won't they be paying on two sides here?
Yes, we can do it by softening this. That is, we cannot completely remove Nigerian paying for the maintenance of the road. But the maintenance of those toll gates should not be in the hands of any government agency. It should be privatized. And as a result, the money accruable from it should be used in maintaining the road. That way, Nigerians will pay less in terms of the cost of traveling. The second one is vehicles some vehicles should be classified. Vehicles are normally classified across the road. There are VIP sections, there are long articulated truck sections, there are car sections, there are buses sections. The one that carries the ordinary Nigeria, which is the buses section, the rate should be so low. In fact, should be only 1/5 of the one that will be for VIP section. That way, Nigerians will pay less. The ordinary Nigerian will pay less, and those who have capacity to pay, which is the principle of taxation really, will not pay.
And then, so with this reintroduction of the tolls now, what would you say is the usefulness of farmer?
Ordinarily, the way the farmer is constituted, his job is like a duplication of what the Federal Ministry of Works should do. But events have overtaken that. Farmer really should actually develop into an extremely big construction company. it should be a fund generating company to maintain those roads and take money from the toll operators to maintain the roads on behalf of those toll operators. I think farmers should stay because of the economics of it, not because of the policy. The economics of increasing jobs at the local level. But if you ask me, how should farmer be the staff of farmer, the employees of farmer? I think it should be done in such a way that it should reflect the need of each state. For example, if only 16 federal roads cross a state, then that state will have less of its citizens in farmer than the state that is crossed by 30 federal roads. That's what I see. And the employment should not be put in the hands of any governor. Otherwise, they will put the most qualified people in farmer. Rather, farmers should approach the polytechnics and the universities around the area in which they are working, so that their students in part 2, part 3, part 4 can do their work, at least industrial attachment, as farmers in that place. That way, you will not only have merit, you will also have general spread. But I think farmers should be retained for the purposes of employment and for the purposes of developing it into a big construction company, a Nigerian company to rival multinationals like Fujiro and Julius Berger.
All right. Well, thank you very much for speaking with us this morning. Dr. Tunji Ogunyemi, economist, embedded historian, and legal practitioner. We appreciate you joining us on the program this morning, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Dr. Ogunyemi joined us live on the line from the University town of Ile-Ife. We switch gears now. Definitely, we'll still be talking about the return of the tolls on the Nigerian roads. The Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Abatade Fashola, saying this yesterday. He's been in the works for some time, but then he made this announcement yesterday while appearing before Senate Committee on FERMA, and he said that with private organizations that will actually manage this particular toll this time. He said it's part of government effort at also generating employment, and what we understand that's going to be on 38 federal roads. We don't know the roads yet, but then I won't expect that the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will be top on that particular list. We'll be going to Abuja now to speak with Mr. Paul Alaje. He's the lead at SPM Professionals. He's an economist based in Abuja. Thank you so much for joining us right here on Frank Talk, Mr. Alaje.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you. Well, let me get your initial reactions. What do you make of the return of the tolls in Nigeria?
Well, with mixed feelings, the return of the tolls, before President Obasanjo took the tolls.
Well, the line went there. The line not clear. We'll have to reconnect to Mr. Laje and get across to him once again on the program here, Funk Talk, on Rave 91.7 FM. Mr. Paul Alaje is an economist, and it was about just talking about the return of the tolls, and then was going to give us his own take on that matter before we begin to look at it in a different angles now, dissect it from different angles really. Look at the propriety of the return of the tolls, if it was right to have cancelled it in the first place, and now it seems that with what happened, the negotiation between the NLC, the Nigerian Labour Congress, and of course the federal government of Nigeria under the administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo, the hike in price of fuel that time, there was a certain percentage that was said to be only for the maintenance of these roads. Mr. Laje is back on the line. Thank you so much for joining us again. I was getting your initial reactions to that particular return of the tolls.
Yes. So that Nigeria has paid for the same in fuel prices, and there will be no need. Besides, most of the money that is collected by the revenue collector from government, less than 20% of the money was actually getting to government covers. So lost its purpose after then. So saying that you want to bring it back now, it's a complete somersault of government policy. However, what we advocate is that if you want to bring toll gate back, then it should go to private sector who have already constructed roads. There is meaningful impact on the road before you build the toll gate. Immediate example government will cite for you is Lekki toll gates, from Lekki phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, and all of that. where people pay in Lagos. But the road you are using, you are happy paying for it. There was no life on that road before the road was constructed, and people are now paying for the road that was constructed to be maintained. So the question is it Lagos-Ibadan Expressway we want to tow, or is it Osun-Ibadan, that Ife-Ibadan road that we want to tow, where people will pay for accidents, where people will pay and also fix their bumpers? So it's not that it's wrong to want to toll roads, but in advanced country where roads are tarred, where roads are, where toll gates are installed and people pay for it, it is because people are paying for value. So what people want to pay for is value. But I speak to you today, I don't know which of the roads Nigerians want to pay for that kind of value. And if government wants to say, okay, we're going to put value, then you can now come and pay. Then I know that to construct that will take a year or 2 years. Then people naturally will be willing to pay for such toll gates.
So you think, that government should finish up these roads before introducing the tolls?
Exactly. And I can prove to you that government will tell you when you pay, we will now use the money to do it. It has never worked. THCN issue, I don't know what we call it. In Abuja, they call it AEDC. Those are discos, generally. Now, these discos have said that when we pay, and the same minister supported them to charge us more. They charge us more. Till now, they are still dancing disco. The power is still dancing disco. It comes, it goes. And there is no particular improvement we can talk about in power supply. I understand Osogbo it's a very lucky state, and you have more power more than any other state nationwide. I'm proud to be an Osun man for that reason myself. I'm proud to be an Osun man for that reason myself. But the issue of toll gate road must be constructed. I can see the state governor of Osun trying to fix is it Bogon to Osogbo or some Osogbo. Yes. Now, when that road is completed and it's excellent, and somebody is talking about toll gate for maintenance, it makes sense. But for that road in that state, for somebody to say he wants to tow it, it's evil. That's exactly the point. So if you're saying you want to tow it so that the street lights will work, so that cleaners will be on the road, so that if there is any pothole like we have in France, somebody will go between 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. to ensure that the potholes are blocked, then that makes sense. But for you to say we should pay for